Hello, and a very warm welcome to the University of East London's School of Architecture, Computing and Engineering Industry Partner Talk. I'm Professor Fawad Inam. I'm Head of Engineering and Computing, which is one of the departments here in the University of East London. And today we are very thankful as we are joined by Nick Russell, who is Director at Parega. Parega is an engineering consultancy firm having a number of offices in the United Kingdom. And we are very excited to have Nick with us to answer some of the questions about working in the industry and tips for our students who want to go straight into industry after they graduate. Nick, thank you very much for joining us. I would really
appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would really appreciate if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little about Parega, please.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me. Yes, so I'm Nick, and Parega is a firm of consulting civil and structural engineers. We're about 65, 70 people strong, and we specialise across the board in structural engineering. The only things we don't do are high-rise buildings and extremely large structures, but you'll find examples of our work in the High Street. We do a lot of work for Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, Debenhams, schools. We've designed hospitals. We've done all manner of things. I'm a director at Parega. Outside work, I do a lot of work for the Institution of Structural Engineers. I was their international president in 2014. And I've got to know the University of East London through the Joint Board of Moderators. Now, the Board of Moderators accredits civil engineering degrees, and indeed the one that some of you are following. And I got to know David Tan, and after a year or so, they gave me the great honour of becoming a visiting professor. So I have lots of interests outside work and also working with Parega as well.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was very comprehensive and precise. And yes, I should have introduced the fact that you are our visiting professor here at the University of East London. Nick, we are here today to learn about your 37 years of experience to inspire our students. So I have a few questions. So how did you become interested in engineering, and what made you choose to study engineering back when you were 17, 18-year old? I mean, what were you thinking? Why engineering?
Okay, well, you're a great flatterer, because actually it's 40 years of experience now. So clearly, I look younger than I really am. So thank you for that. It was my grandfather. My grandfather on my mum's side. He, in the Second World War, made parts of the Spitfire planes up in London. He also, one of his first jobs, he ran a foundry making ornamental metalwork. And I just looked at things like that and thought, wow, I could do that. And at school, I went to a secondary modern school. I wasn't the best academic. So anything that was creative, so technical drawing, woodwork, metalwork, I was there. And I was very, very interested in sports. The school was divided into 8 houses, the 8 Knights of the Round Table, and hence the school was called Mallory. And I played just about every sport for the school, one or two for Southern England. So it had to be something where I could be creative. And I started to think, well, yes, I could work in a factory making, sort of doing metalwork and things like that. I didn't really want to do that. And the careers master, we had a visiting careers master, and he said, well, why don't you become a civil engineer? Because civil engineering combines your love for the outdoors, being outside, and your interest in engineering. I know now that he had not a clue what civil engineering really was, but I decided I needed to up my game. I needed to go on and get A-levels, which I did. And I went to what was called Thames Polytechnic, which is now the University of Greenwich. Studied very hard because all my friends had gone out and got jobs. Came out with a first-class honours, which was quite remarkable given my academic achievements at school, and joined an organisation called Travers Morgan, who became swallowed up by various companies and eventually Capita. So it was really this not wanting to be at a desk from 9 to 5, not wanting to travel up to London every day, wanting every day to be different and making a difference to people's lives, which is really what civil engineering and structural engineering does. So, yeah, I think it's thus far it's been a fantastic career and one where you really can help the environment and help people.
Thank you very much, Nick. That's very inspiring, and certainly I can see when you say that engineers are problem solvers. They go out and every day is a new day, and every day is exciting. That you travel a lot, and obviously all that is a part of the whole package. So it's amazing to hear from your 40 years of experience. If I could ask you the most interesting thing, so what do you like most about the work that you're currently doing as a director at your firm?
I think one of the problems with being a director is that you join a company and you become a good engineer, and they reward that with you becoming an associate in the company. And then you become a good associate, and I was still quite young when they made me a partner. I was 34. And you're really badly equipped for running a company. And we find the same now as we appoint directors. They're good engineers, but they're not necessarily good directors. So the bit that I really love is there's two bits. One is doing really good engineering, and one of the things that we do a great deal of is repurposing buildings. So you'll see now with the climate emergency, they're talking about repurposing buildings rather than knocking them down and starting again. We've been doing that for the 35 years that I've been at Pariga. So looking at buildings, understanding how they were designed, understanding how they work. Can we extend them? Can we make them taller? Can we, sort of put basements underneath them? All manner of things. And no two buildings are the same because every building is a bespoke item. So that's the thing that really gives me a buzz. Sort of trying new things, trying to get the absolute most that we can out of the structures that we have. The other strand that I really enjoy is mentoring people. So my job now, having stepped down from being a managing director, is to spend my time at Pariga also helping to mentor the young graduates, the staff, and also some of our younger directors. So it's really good fun passing your knowledge on to other people. And yes, I think the real buzz is trying to get the most out of some of our existing buildings. So why knock a building down when it's perfectly good? So we can save all of that embodied carbon and reuse what we already have. So yeah, every day is different, and why would I want to do anything else?
Great, thank you very much. Repurposing the existing infrastructure, I think it's a great part of your job, and I can see the value, the commercial value in which you're trying to preserve, at the same time upcycle, recycle, and deliver the climate agenda that you mentioned before. So exactly what what the engineering profession is about. I want to change the direction to Industry 4.0 because as a university, our Vision 2028 is aligned, offering Industry 4.0 products to our students, ensuring that all of our students are employable and they appreciate the autonomous automation, robotics, cloud, and everything connected in this industry, the fourth revolution, in the industrial revolution as we are experiencing. So what do you think would be the impact of Industry 4.0 is going to be on the sector, on the civil engineering sector, on your sector? And what new jobs in the industry do you think will start to emerge in near future?
Okay. Let's do the second part first, because the new jobs that are going to come along are going to be that companies like ours are going to start employing data programmers. I've heard of people even employing, young people that design computer games, because they're very good at, they're very good at computer code, and these are the sort of people that we want. But this is an absolutely huge subject that we could spend a day on. But just to give you an analogy, the profession is changing exponentially. So if you sort of take my father, born in 1931, had he gone to university, he would have gone in the early 50s, and he retired in the mid-90s. And civil engineering graduates from that time really didn't need much more knowledge than that they learned at university, and their formative years at their first company. I graduated in 1979. We didn't have computers. The computer at Travers Morgan was in a big basement room. It had a tenth of the power of anybody's mobile phone, and that was it. So we learned to avoid it. And I found in my career so far that I've had to continually learn. And what current students will find when they graduate is that the job that they do at the end of their career will be completely different from the one that they're doing at the beginning, because things are moving, super fast now. And I can think of many things that our organisation did 10, 20, 30 years ago that we no longer do, because it's become mechanised, it's become commoditised. So if you take something as simple as designing, well, not simple, but let's say that you're designing a multi-storey building, perhaps even 10, 15 years ago, a lot of that would be designed by hand, using hand methods, using calculators. Now you simply, you use BIM, a building information model, you create your model, you put it into the machine, and it's not quite as easy as this, but the design, a lot of the design is automated. And this is a big danger to students, because what will happen if we're not careful is that we'll teach students to become computer operators, and we won't give them the foundation that they need to become really good engineers. And I think, this will come up in a question in a minute, I know, but really we need to just take a little step back, use technology for all the good things that technology can do for us, taking the drudgery out of number crunching, all of those sort of things, but make sure that we're still 100% on top of the engineering principles. Still get that sheet of A4 paper out and a pencil, sketch your ideas, find out where the forces are going, see how the structure is working. And then when you've done all of that, that is the time to use some of this fantastic technology that we have now. And you can see things that happen on site now. So, you can excavate, you can excavate holes in the ground with a digger where the operator is in a cabin. You can lay bricks using robots. You can probably do a lot of things that we still do on site. Instead of employing people, we can employ machines, and there has to be a balance between employing people and making sure that people have jobs and livelihoods, and mechanisation. One of the other things that's happening increasingly is that components are being manufactured in factories. I've been to a factory that's run by Laing O'Rourke up in the Midlands, and again, lots of these things are mechanised, and with mechanisation comes accuracy of product, economy of product, but there is a flip side, because it does take away people's jobs. So the whole thing is going to be absolutely huge. And I think, just lastly, when I started my career, we had people that typed letters for us. We had what was called a typing pool. We had insurance brokers in the high street that sold you insurance policies. They have all gone. Both of those careers are no longer. So all of you students watching this, your career will be completely different at the end from what it is at the beginning. So yes, an absolutely huge subject. And I suppose just thinking about what civil engineers can do. Think about transport, think about autonomous cars, autonomous trains, all of these things, and it's really exciting. It's going to be great to be involved in it, but we just need to keep a sort of, bear in mind that the human consequences of this as well, because we will have people and they won't be able to follow hobbies and leisure 24 hours a day. They'll need a flexible job as well.
Thank you very much, Nick. You highlighted some very key areas, in particular the understanding of fundamental of engineering principles and engineering sciences right at the beginning of the courses. And this is exactly what, as a university, we focus on to ensure that all the students they know how to do calculations without using calculator. Let's put it like that. Thank you very much. That was very interesting. I'll ask you a final question about your personal experience for our international students, because we are being listened across the world at this point of time. So my final question is really about as we have many international students that come and study here in the heart of developing East London and expanding East London. What made you decide to live in London, and what is your favorite thing about London in general?
Okay, I live in a village called Ashton, which is southwest of London. But the nice thing about it is it's 20 miles away, and you can you live in the country, but you can be in London in within an hour. My first job was in London in Covent Garden, and that is a place that I really love because you've got the old markets and a fantastic example of how people have repurposed a building. So that's one of my favourite places. The other favourite place, and you really ought to go and visit it, is Greenwich Park and the Greenwich Observatory and the Maritime Museum. So when I was a kid, we lived in Bromley, and I used to cycle up to the Maritime Museum, have a look at all the boats and everything else. And it just gives you that fantastic insight of history. So an ideal day for me would be to go up to London, go into Covent Garden, have a look around, have a couple of coffees and a bite to eat, go down to the Embankment, hop on the river bus, don't go by underground, hop on the river bus, go down to North Greenwich and Greenwich Peninsula, and spend the rest of the day in Greenwich town itself, because there's a fantastic market there. Go into the park and then go and have a look at the observatory and the Maritime Museum. So actually, that will probably take you 2 or 3 days, not 1 day. But so for me, that's my favourite part of London.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was very informative, and certainly listening to your experience. I mean, certainly we can conclude from your statements that London is not just the capital of Britain, it's the capital of culture, education, entertainment, infrastructure and technology for sure. And it would offer great opportunities to our international students, especially when we talk about post-Brexit era and post-pandemic era and whatever good is about to come. Thank you very much again. The session is about to finish, so I would like to thank our industrial guest, Nick Russell, again today for joining us. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank to all our students that have tuned in during this session. So whatever you are doing, wherever you are, stay safe. If you need more information, you can get onto our website. We have January 2021 intakes as well. There are many programs in engineering, construction and computing, as well as we have programs starting in September. But once again, Nick, thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure as our visiting professor, our students, our prospective students have a lot to learn further from your.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the time when I can get back to the university and meet some of them. So hopefully that won't be too far away.
Thank you very much, Nick. You have a good day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay then. Goodbye.